Hello and welcome to Mimi's Sketchbook. Today my illustration was inspired by Paul David Tripp's book New Morning Mercies, and I am reading the devotion for October 7th. And I mention that just in case you might like to read along with me in the book, or you might want to consider drawing or painting along with me. If ever you wanted to draw or paint, this is a great time to do it and just follow along with me. You don't need any special tools, even a ballpoint pen, a pencil, and a scrap sheet of paper, or you could grab one of these nice little sketchbooks. I use a multimedia sketchbook, and you can get it at Walmart or an art store. They're in a lot of different places. But give drawing or painting a try. It's very enjoyable. And if you have flowers in your yard and you enjoy gardening, it's a great way to understand and get to know your plants better. I know I learn a lot about the plants I have when I draw them, because it forces me to slow down and to observe them, think about how they're constructed, what do the petals look like, what do the leaves look like. There's so much to think about the structure of a plant, and you really get to know them when you try to draw them. So I encourage you, just give it a try. It's fun. Today is a very rainy day, and I just had my mindset that I wanted to paint some flowers today. But with all this rain, I was like a little hesitant, but I threw on my raincoat, put on my boots, and went outside and cut some flowers that still look beautiful despite the fact we've had some freezing nights. They still look good. The pink flower in the center of the bouquet is called Live Forever, and it is a sedum, and it is probably one of the most common sedums that you'll find in the garden. And a lot of people don't think it's very special because it is so common, but I absolutely love it. It has to be one of the easiest plants, perennial plants, to grow. And it is beautiful the entire season, and you don't even have to cut it down in the fall. Just leave it up, and you have some winter interest with the flower even throughout the winter. This flower starts off coming up, the head comes up, and it's a mass of light green, and as it matures, it might get to about 1.5 feet, maybe even 2 feet tall. And it goes from the very lovely light green to a pink. And then it deepens. Right now, it's deepened into like a deep mauvey pink, and then it will just continue to darken almost until it looks like a brown. And I think you don't have to plant mums or go out and buy mums in the fall for winter color if you have this Live Forever sedum in your garden, because it puts on such a brilliant show of color that it just is an amazing plant, and I highly recommend it. The purple flower is an annual, and that's called purple salvia. And the plant, when you stand back from your garden, you may not see this plant because the color recedes into the background. It's dark and it kind of doesn't jump out. But when you get up close, it is such a rich, deep purpley blue. It's just gorgeous, and I love the shape of it and its growth pattern. It grows in tall spikes, tall purple spikes. Gets to about 2.5 feet tall. Might get larger, and it's very easy to maintain. Likes the sun, but you know what? I have very little sun. I just have a few hours of sun where it grows, and it still does beautifully. There is also a limelight hydrangea. Now, the limelight hydrangea is a little difficult to paint on a white background because itself is very light colored. It's very delicate and a light, very, very soft light green. And the leaves now, or the petals, are soft green, and they just have a tinge of pink on them. So when I'm painting it here, they kind of just blend right into the background. So I went in later on and I outlined them with a pen so the petals at least would show up, and I deepened the color of the unopened petals, that they're kind of little clusters closer to the stem, so that they would show up. But it's a beautiful plant to grow in your garden. And this is a shrub, and it can grow up to 9 or 10 feet tall if you want it to. But you can prune it down, easy to prune, very easy to care for. Another plant I put in here is the honeysuckle vine, and I have them growing in a trellis up and over the side of an archway, and it's still going strong. It's a beautiful way to enter into a yard, is under an archway of very fragrant honeysuckle. And the last things I have in here are some leaves, or like branches, of a Solomon seal plant. And it's one of those plants that you really look forward to coming up in the spring. It kind of pushes out through the ground and develops quickly, and it has tiny little delicate white bell-shaped flowers that hang down underneath the length of the branch. And they are lovely when you cut a whole bunch of branches off and put them into a big vase. They're just elegant. Today in his devotion, Paul Tripp tells us that our hearts can be captured or ruled by only two things: either the things that are above, the Creator, or things on this earth, the creation. And he says, it's not wrong to celebrate created glories. It's not wrong to want them in your life, and it's not wrong to work to get them, but they must not be allowed to rule your heart, and in ruling your heart, to become a functional God replacement. And he quotes Colossians 3:2, which says, set your mind on things that are above and not things that are on earth. So thank you for joining me today at Mimi's Sketchbook. I hope this was an encouragement to you, and if it was, could you please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and in that way, YouTube will help us to share the good news. So thank you, and God bless.